Forget George Zimmerman. Watch out for George Brotherman. I had the occasion to attend one of Al Sharpton's mandated national rallies today. This one was in Baton Rouge, the capital of Louisiana. I was treated to a spectacle of liberal talking points, as one might imagine, including appearances from two Democratic Party operatives who were not so subtly hinting that the answer to black folks' plight is, of course, voting for the latest Democrat who will conveniently ignore us until re-election time. It's very sad in a broad sense, but really minorly unsurprising that Al Sharpton, the Democratic Party et al., would use Trayvon Martin's death as yet another in an endless series of attempts to pimp the black community and its allies for votes. And compounding this travesty is not only gaining votes, but glossing over some interesting facts. As they call for the repeal of stand your ground laws, this will have a very disparate impact upon people I call hostages in the inner city, who are more at risk of being assaulted by armed criminals than higher income counterparts. If you start tampering with stand your ground laws, and of course, the accompanying gun control feature that the Democrats have been pushing since time immemorial regarding black people, you will end up with an all-powerful government and an all but powerless populace, particularly inner city ones. It's funny how facts like these aren't considered civil rights platform items by the Democrats and their liberal allies. So, in attending this rally, and also being on the agenda to speak, but also being not allowed to speak because of inclement weather, it was a very hot day, I got to be treated to yet another depressing spectacle of what passes for a political organization in the black community. All you need is a superficial rallying cry, in this instance, George Zimmerman and Trayvon Martin, to the exclusion of thugs whom I've in the past called chocolate Klansmen and zombies, and for the purposes of this presentation, I will refer to as George Brotherman, who account for, depending on your choice of statistics, either 94 or 96% of black homicides, who are responsible for homicide being the number one cause of death for black boys ages 14 to 25 in this country. Conveniently whipping up specters of non-black vigilantes lurking in the bushes waiting to hunt us down as we walk down the street with iced tea and Skittles obscures the fact that we have been engaged in a self-hating orgy on the front pages and headlines and television stations of America's multimedia for at least 25 or 30 years. Urban safety should be the civil rights movement that we're pushing. George Brotherman, because his skin is black, has an array of enablers and lobbyists and supporters and apologists as he keeps dipping his hands in innocent black blood, and no one seems to have the moral fortitude on the left to call him out for what he is, a chocolate Klansman, someone who hates black people so much that not only does he murder his intended targets, George Brotherman will also kill babies in strollers, children on front porches, and for kicks will also kidnap, rape, and murder juvenile women and even senior citizens. George Brotherman does this on a daily basis. But sadly, George Zimmerman is all that our liberal establishment seems concerned about. Is it too much to ask that those who destroy black lives on a daily basis should not be further empowered to do so by rolling back stand your ground laws and limiting Second Amendment rights in those inner city communities where this legislation has literal life or death consequences? Again, I ask, George Zimmerman, you better watch out for George Brotherman if you're an American black.